Okay, huge movie fanatic Nate coming with another famous solo review because I don't know if Matt's seen it or not, but I just watched all four of these movies recently, I think last week, so I'm really raring to review these. I'm reviewing Phantasm 2, The Ball is Back. That's not like a subtitle or anything, it's like a tagline. But anyways, Phantasm 2, obviously the sequel to Phantasm. This came out, I think, 9 years, 1988, after Phantasm. Interesting anecdote is that I can't remember what me and my dad saw what the first movie was, but we saw this in the drive-in. This was the second or third movie, so I was now watching this, and this is back obviously in 1988 when I was afraid of horror, I was scared of horror movies, so I was in the back seat, probably like drifting off, sleeping, whatever. Um, but I remember seeing, the famous title before I stopped watching. I love how the title comes up and it's all shiny, and I like the little music thing and the audio that accompanies the title, and the red 2 appears behind it. Um, so yeah, like I say, I can't remember the first movie what it would have been in 1988, but whatever. I was at the drive-in when this was playing, and I remember my dad. We probably left before it was over because I know my dad wasn't too impressed because he obviously probably hadn't seen the first one or anything like that. But on to Phantasm 2, as I mentioned in the Phantasm review in 1990. I rented 1 and 2 from a mom and pop video store for the price of one, I believe. And after Phantasm, which I greatly loved, I watched, of course, Phantasm 2. And Phantasm 2 is, I don't know if it was from the get-go, financed or whatever by Universal or put out after the fact, but it is like a Universal movie, so I'd say out of all four of them, it's got probably, to me, it seems to be the one, out of all of them, the one with the biggest budget for me, or the most mainstream. I don't know if it's just because, the third one's Universal too, but I don't know why that is. It just seems like it's the one where he had maybe the most at his disposal. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how it plays to me. So Phantasm 2 is exciting in a way where he's actually it's like a studio movie being put up by Universal, and maybe he's got some more budgetary means behind him. And what I love about this sequel, just like Halloween 2, and I actually really like it when they sometimes, well, it depends on what it is, but in this case I like it when a movie starts from the exact, or sequel starts from the exact moment that the last one left off. Literally just playing the same song, and hearing something upstairs and running up the stairs. I forgot to mention, it's hard to remember everything, but in the first review I forgot to mention how great Michael Baldwin, not, if you know anything about Phantasm, you know what I'm saying. It's not Michael Baldwin of the Baldwins, but the kid in the Phantasm movie, who in Phantasm 3 and 4, I think he's credited as a Michael Baldwin to alleviate any confusion. But I forgot to mention how great he was as like a 13-year-old in Phantasm. Actually, I forgot to mention all the characters, which is Angus. I mentioned Angus Scrimm, but I didn't mention Reggie Bannister and Bill Thornbury, who were all, and Michael Baldwin, who were a great, like a trio. They were a great set of 3 characters, who are the main 3 characters in the movie. But Michael Baldwin in the movie, the young kid of Phantasm, was absolutely fantastic. I forgot to say that, but I'm saying it now. The reason I thought of it is because he's not in Phantasm 2 reprising his role. I think that Universal had a part to play in that. They probably wanted some, more of a, whatever the hell kind of guy that they ended up with, maybe a little more macho or manly kind of guy, they got with whatever the hell his name was, whatever the hell his name is, who ended up being playing Mike's character in the second one. Of course, Reggie Bannister is back to reprise, luckily, the role of Reggie, and he's great as always. But anyway, so the very beginning is great because it starts from exactly the point where the first one ends. And one of the things I love about the movie is the girl in the movie. It went from the first time I saw it to right now, it's just like, God, she's cute. She's like this, athletic, cute kind of girl, and it's great because one of the great things about movies is like, people don't age, so it's like you were in love with her when in 1990, and I watched it again, and I'm in love with her all over. And she hasn't aged a bit. I mean, in the movie. So Phantasm 2 is great. The thing that is kind of cool. It's different than Phantasm 1 in the sense that from here on, this is the first of the three movies that are basically the on the road thing, and you're not sick of it yet because this is the first Phantasm that does it. So it's different from the first one in that aspect, where now we're on the road. You know, at the beginning, Reggie, spoiler alert, Reggie's family, who we don't know anything about, but we just hear that he has one, is blown up in the house by the tall man. Welcome home, boy. So that, you know, it's a kind of a cheap way of just saying I have a family, but I'm not going to show them. Oh, they're blown up. Darn, now we got to go out on the road to try to follow the tall man and seek revenge for what he's done to Reggie's family and what he's done to Mike and just what he's doing in general. So it's kind of got this cool on the road feel with the same classic. Well, I don't know. Probably not the same car, but the same kind of car, which is that Hemi Cuda, whatever the hell it is. I'm not a big, I don't know anything about those kind of cars, but I think that's what it is. I know that the car was kind of famous throughout the whole, series because it's the same kind of car. So, so they go out on the road, and it works really well actually. And the scene I remember really liking when I was 13 when I first saw it was the scene where they go into the store and make all their. It's really cool. I mean, little boys or little teenagers are all in for this stuff, and I still am. Where they go into the store and confab, make all this stuff like the famous double barrel shotguns that are connected. So it's a quadruple barrel shotgun with the cut off on each end, so it's like a point, and he's got the light on it, so he can like shoot all four barrels at once, which is a famous Phantasm weapon. And Mike's little confab propane flamethrower thing. So that kind of stuff is really cool. The gadgets and the gimmickry in the props in Phantasm 2 is really cool. So they're on the road and they're chasing him down, and they come across this girl, and Reggie has a little chance at that. And then another cool thing about this movie is the character, the cute girl's got a grandma who ends up I'm not going to say everything, but who ends up becoming a tall man's dwarf. And we see the funeral of her grandma's husband. And it's got, one of the things that's kind of funny is this priest who's in the movie is kind of a character actor who's I liked at the time, and I mean like him in the movie because I don't know if I've seen him in anything else, but in the movie, in the tall man ends up killing him with the famous. I think he's the only one in the Phantasm 2 to get drilled in the head with the famous flying sphere. The spheres, in my opinion, look the best in part 2 than they do in all four movies. Again, I think it's probably because of hopefully Universal's. It doesn't matter, and hopefully you can scratch that, but because of Universal's involvement, maybe the means were better. But I'd give Phantasm 3 I'd give Phantasm 2 3 stars. It's not anywhere near as good as the first one. The music is, I think, by the same guys, but it's not as like guitar based. I don't think it's more like synthesized. I mean, I don't know anything about it, I could be wrong, but it sounds like it's more synthesized than it is. Like the first one just sounds like it's on instruments, like just guitars, bass, and all that kind of stuff, and percussion. This one sounds like it's like keyboards, which for me is a D, whatever that is, de-evolvement, anti-evolve. But I could go on and on actually about Phantasm 2, but I don't think I'm going to. There are things I really love, and Angus Grimback as a tall man is great. And the introduction of flying spheres that actually do different things instead of just the pointy brain sucker. You got one with, actually I don't know if it's the same. It might be the same sphere that does multiple things, but you got one that comes out with the little saw that cuts the priest's ear off, and there's one laser. He might have had too many new ones, but I guess you can't have too many new ones. And then there's actually a laser shooting sphere, and one that ends up. So there's all kinds of different sphere gadgetry, which again maybe Universal, by doing a movie through Universal, allowed Coscarelli to do more stuff like that. So like I say, this movie's got more of a budget, I think, and the cool chainsaw fight between Reggie Bannister and some, what do they call them? Gravers. For whatever reason, they're wearing like a kind of a gas mask thing. I don't know why you need to wear that digging up a grave, but I guess if you hit a gas line out of them accidentally. But Phantasm 2, I'd say, is a solid 3-star movie. Thanks a lot for watching, and watch out for the spheres.